Yeah, last night I met again for the first time a person who I haven't seen in 20, 25 odd years. And he was the person who persuaded me to read the Dan Brown novel. I can't remember what it's called now. The rubbish about the Passover plot or whatever. That's Schofield, isn't it? I can't remember what the novel's called. It turned into a film, and it was great fun. But it was basically Foucault's pendulum light. And conspiracy theories offer neat solutions to messy problems and imply that somewhere someone has the answers that we're all missing. If only we had the courage or the resources to peel back the curtain and look. And what's interesting isn't just that the theories themselves are entertaining, it's the human need that fuels them. Why do so many smart people believe such ludicrous rubbish? Why is it so impossible to think that a disgruntled ex-marine or a strip club owner is not the person who assassinated a president, but the CIA and Mossad orchestrated it? That makes more sense, does it? The problem is that conspiracy theories, as Douglas Murray rather brilliantly put it in The Spectator, are cheap solutions to complex problems that often don't have answers. They allow us to impose coherence on chaos. And after all, the idea that JFK was randomly shot by a mentally unstable drifter, that is terrifying, isn't it? Because if the most powerful man in the world can be killed by nobody, then what hope is there for anybody? So conspiracy theories offer a form of narrative comfort. They're a sort of little blanket. And the mindset of a beautiful mind where everything means something, pareidolia. That's all it is. The absurd fantasy of apophenia, a belief that there really are patterns when there are in fact none. We're living in a world of chaos. Coincidence doesn't exist. If there's a smoking gun, then I'm going to be able to find it. Are you really? Are you really? Do you have the resources to identify that smoking gun without the absence of evidence which has eluded everybody else? But then you say, yes, the absence of evidence is evidence of a cover-up. It's watertight. And of course, that is not falsifiable, and therefore that is convincing to you, to me. It's entertaining. Of course it's entertaining, but you shouldn't mix up entertainment with truth. Entertainment. And it's fun to believe that there's a cabal of cigar-smoking men in a dark room plotting sabotage, plotting throwing their shoes in the machine, rather than accepting that actually the mistakes that the chaos that we see around the world is simply bureaucratic incompetence. And yet, don't we have evidence of bureaucratic incompetence all the time? Every day we only have to look at the Home Office to see the myriad piles of people stuck in limbo, whether they be migrants or whether they be people trying to get a letter back about their passport. The incompetence of bureaucracy. That's not a conspiracy theory, that's a fact. And then you've got the people who flatter themselves into, quote, doing their own research. I want to do my own research. I want to read a wide range of papers. Look, the information that we have is limited. If you can actually get onto the front lines of Ukraine, if you can be as brave as Caleb Robertson and actually go there, maybe you'll get some information. But again, you don't get that much. We are drenched in second-hand, secondary texts. That's not doing our own research to master those. That's assembling facts which have already been digested. That's we're being fed. We're being fed with worms, and we are as easily led down YouTube rabbit holes and Twitter storms. It gives the illusion of expertise without the bother of training. It's not mere hobbyism. For many, a belief in conspiracy becomes a form of identity, a community of enlightened versus the foolish. Yet perhaps more worrying, conspiracy theories flourish in environments of declining institutional trust. Now that I think is very interesting, because the COVID lab leak theory, once dismissed as a fringe lunacy, has since acquired credibility, with major outlets now conceding its plausibility. This is precisely the problem. When authorities obfuscate or redact, like the CIA did for decades with the JFK files, they unwittingly generate more suspicion. And perhaps we're hoping that the documents would contain, this is what LBJ said, let's kill JFK. But instead, they get social security numbers, dull, yes, but suspiciously dull. So the logic goes, oh, this is suspiciously dull. If it wasn't a conspiracy, why the secrecy? Well, there are many reasons why somebody would be secret about something. Maybe they're trying to cover something else up. That's not the conspiracy you are trying to unearth. And here's the killer twist. Conspiracy theories are by nature self-reinforcing. You can't kill them. If you disprove a theory, well, it's only because you're part of the cover-up. And this dynamic is vividly exposed in the JFK case. Even when all 63,000 pages were released, theorists simply move the goalposts, because the belief isn't really about the facts, it's about the worldview. The need to believe that someone is in control, even malign control, is more comforting than accepting that nobody is in control, than accepting that this is about chaos or this is about incompetence. And then there's the problem of projection. Increasingly, conspiracy theories are no longer apolitical. They are deeply tied to partisan loyalties. The bizarre case of the moon landing. The Americans achieved something incredible and then they accuse each other of faking it. It speaks not just of distrust in the government, but of a growing self-hatred. The left used to corner this market, but now the American right has joined in. QAnon, the stolen election, the deep state, all reflections of people who have lost faith not only in authority but in their own nation. It would be easy to laugh at all this nonsense, this mimetolithic pattern searching. You know, people throughout history have seen patterns in the stones, just as people see patterns in teacups. They look at Mars, they look at the face on Mars, the man in the moon, Jupiter's seat. But it's all accidental. Believe me, it's accidental. The roads on Mars. All you have to do is you have to look at you have to go and look at that wonderful scene in Hamlet. Do you see those clouds, my lord? Yes, very like a camel. Oh, very like a weasel. Very like a whale. Conspiracy theories are not always harmless. They scapegoat. They simplify. They increasingly drift towards things like anti-Semitism. This deep state thing is essentially an anti-Semitic trope, the oldest of tropes. Somebody hidden is pulling the strings. The Jews, the bankers, the globalists. Same cast, different decade. But actually, it's pointing the finger at the same people. It's fundamentally scapegoating. And fundamentally, therefore, wrong. It isn't just bad reasoning. It's dangerous politics. It corrodes democracy. It corrodes thought. It replaces debate with paranoia. It replaces evidence with vibes. It replaces iconography with a Rorschach ink blot. It replaces observation with stupidity, with gullibility. So how do we live with conspiracy theories? We acknowledge their emotional utility to start with. They offer control, identity, meaning, even if they are illusory. Everybody will listen intently. When somebody turns a teacup over or a coffee cup and they start reading about, oh, look, here's a snail, here's a tortoise, you're standing under an oak tree, you're going to get buckets of money. You listen, don't you? You listen, even if you try and restrain yourself and say it's all hokum. You listen because it's sort of comforting, it's sort of warm and glowy, and it offers a story. As journalists, academics ordinary people. Secrecy breeds suspicion, and secrecy breeds a narrative. But really we need epistemic humility, the courage to say, I don't know. Not everything has a grand explanation. Sometimes life is random. Sometimes people just do things with any reason. The disgruntled ex-Marine who kills the president. That can happen. The accidents happen. Life is not a spy novel. It's usually a badly written sitcom. And if we can hold on to that simple truth, perhaps we will find ourselves a little less seduced by the fantasy that somewhere someone must be in charge, because in the end, someone is not in charge.